Hello, everyone. JC Coffee with 411 Business. And today we have a genetic specialist and a health optimization expert. Sky, take it away.
Well, thank you, JC. It's wonderful to be here on 411 Business. It's my passion to help people understand that they don't need to die normally. You know, so I had an awakening when I was about to turn 40, which was not so long ago. um, Actually, it's a funny story because a friend of mine, I was at a Halloween party, and a friend of mine, I heard him say, "Why won't anyone fight me?" He was wearing a robot costume, right? Like tin foil and boxes, and you know, like HVAC, tubes that you have for like your dryer. And I say, "Brian, why do you want? What's the deal? Why are you trying to fight people?" He's like, "I need a man, to confront me in combat, to compel me to get in the best shape I've ever been in my life." I was 39. I was like, "That's a damn good reason." I was like, "I'm your Huckleberry." And so we started training, right? I totally had a dad bod at the time, because I was raising kids, and I thought it was a great idea. Within 3 months, I was in Andre Ward, who retired 50-0 and had both the welterweight and middleweight belts. I was in his private gym, training with his manager and trainer, Virgil Hunter, right? It's a sequence of events that is extraordinary, but here I am, a civilian, training in a private gym in Hayward. And it was because of that experience, right, where I was basically I'm a civilian being turned into an ultra elite athlete. And Virgil Hunter, he didn't know anything else. The whole reason he agreed to train me was because he asked me, "Why should I train you?" "Why? And I have champions." I said, "Because you don't know what you're capable of. You've never had to deal with, a civilian. Like, what could you make of me?" Like, you got it. That's a good reason.
That's a good reason. That is a great reason. A challenge. I love
Yeah,
it.
I gave him a challenge, right? And so I said, so he said, "I'll agree to train you, but you can never say no. Like, you have to erase the words no and I can't from your vocabulary." He said, "You always train. I don't care if you have 104 fever, you show up. I decide if you go home." And he said, "I don't care if you're curled up like a spider on the ground from from citric acid in your muscles, from cramps. I want to see you struggling and try to get up."
Yes or yes.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. He's like, if you fail, if you ever disappoint me, you're out. There's only one chance you're out, right? So I went through this process, and in that process, I awakened to the fact that, like, I have all this potential. Okay. I don't have to. I can be superhuman, honestly. That transformation occurred within 6 months. I went from being dad bod to total killer, like, unstoppable. And during that process, I started seeing a longevity doctor and getting my hormones tested and my growth hormone tested. And I saw that my levels were declining. I was like, "What the hell is this?" Like, and I saw that where I was now was just going to go downhill. And that looked like a slide into death, right? Into decrepitude, into saggy butt, old man bullshit. For real. That's how I saw this. Yeah. I was like, I don't want that future. And so I started supplementing testosterone. And doctors would tell me, like, "Oh no, you can't have that much testosterone. You can only that's above your range." I was like, "But I want to get up to the 20-year-old range." Like, "Oh no, that time has passed." I'm like, "Why? That's not safe." I'm like, "How do you know it's not safe?" So I saw this line, and it just looked like it said die normally doctors will help you.
Amen to that.
And I was like, what's behind door number 2? You know? And so I started researching. Right? That's one thing I've always been amazing at. Like, I can go into Google search bar and I can type exactly the right thing to find that stuff, right? And so I started researching, and honestly, within the space of 6 months, I read 3,000 research articles in advanced biochemistry and genetics. And what I was looking for was very specific. I was looking for the philosopher's stone, right? Which grants eternal life. And honestly, I found a lot of stuff. I did. I found a lot of stuff. And that's what I was doing with Ron last night, my client. I gave a genetic report last night. And this guy's a biohacker. You know, you met him. Mm-hmm. And so he was super into all this stuff. And we went total geek, you know, and I was showing him all my secrets, all my tricks. I went beyond. And so I found so many things. Like, you can actually hack your biology. He couldn't believe it. Like, so what makes you cardiovascularly fit? Cardio fit. Tell me, what do you think, JC? Like, why are you more like? Why are you like? Why can you run a long distance without getting winded? Like, and you train for that. What changes in your body?
Your muscle mass, or is it your blood? What is it?
Most people think it's like your lungs get more efficient, or your heart pumps better, or your blood is better, or something. Cardio. Mm-hmm. Right? We're doing cardio today, right? We're going to get more cardio fit. Has nothing to do with that.
Really?
It's actually the efficiency and number of mitochondria you have in your cells.
Really? Now that would make sense, because ATP is the energy.
Exactly. And mitochondria creates ATP. So if you have more mitochondria and they're more efficient, you use your oxygen more efficiently to make more energy. And energy is the thing that you need to keep running. Once you move into anaerobic metabolism, your efficiency falls. So your mitochondria, when in the presence of oxygen, can make 28 ATP for every glucose. Mm-hmm. Once you have no oxygen, it can make 4.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a downward spiral. Once you run out of oxygen, you're done. You get into oxygen debt, you might as well quit. Everyone else is going to kick your ass. Why? Because they have more mitochondria and they're more efficient. Anyway, this is just one hack. I'm telling you this one thing because I discovered a supplement called PQQ, right? PQQ tells the mitochondria that they're in a reducing environment. In other words, there's no oxygen. What happens when your mitochondria are like run out of oxygen? That's what you're supposed to do. High intensity interval training, right? You blow out all the oxygen in your body. That's why you're like, right? Because there's no more oxygen. That sends a signal to your mitochondria that they gotta divide. They gotta create more because your body's under stress. I found a supplement that just tells your mitochondria to go ahead and divide.
Really? So it says you're not out of oxygen, you're great, keep going.
Yeah. So in other words, it's a heat sensitive protein. It's a signaling molecule, PQQ, that normally is only released when your mitochondria are in a reducing environment, which means there's no oxygen, which is painful. And it takes all this exercise. But I found a pill that just sends a message to the mitochondria that says, go ahead and divide.
Really?
So you can take a pill and become more cardiovascularly fit just by taking a pill. This is the cheat codes. These are the cheat codes for the biological brain of your body. You know, that's what's going on. So I started discovering this stuff. And along the way, I realized that, yeah, I had a bunch of cool tricks, but what I needed to really figure out was how my body was made specifically, right? We kind of think of ourselves as like, oh, we're all kind of the same. But if we were, how come some people get side effects from medications and other people don't?
Exactly.
How come medicine works for some people and it makes other people sick?
Yeah.
It's because we're actually snowflakes. Snowflakes are all different, right? We're not averages. So the reason why modern medicine throws spaghetti at the wall and says, oh, this might give you side effects, like let me know if these bad things happen. Because they don't know. They don't know. And then they have to adjust your medication, and it's this long process, and it may work and it may not. I got to tell you something. If I get your DNA data, I can tell you exactly which medications will work, which ones won't, which ones will give you side effects, what the dosage should be. Doctors don't know because they can't look at your liver enzymes. They don't know how quickly your body breaks things down or what metabolites it turns medicines into. They don't know. So they just have to guess. Honestly, so many of my clients, when I give them their reports, they're actually angry. Not at me, they're angry at medicine. Like, how come this isn't standard? Like, this is so easy, right?
Exactly.
Why do I still have to take medicine and not know how it's going to affect me? If you can tell me, and you're just self-trained, you just read a bunch of research articles and use this fancy AI tool, Opus 23, and you just use regular old DNA data from 23andMe, like, couldn't doctors do better? Couldn't modern medicine, like, blow your ass away? But no, they don't.
And then you come in and say, well, they can, but there's no money in healing. So therefore.
Exactly. I mean, aside, I don't want to like be down on doctors too much, right? But like, it is an industry and they have a specific approach. And I think that genetics and genetic analysis is a different way of doing things. And so they're jealous of their, I mean, what's the largest share of GDP other than government spending?
Health.
And
medicine.
Is there a cartel of medicine? What's it called? The American Medical Association? Do they control?
Exactly. For American Pharmaceutical Association.
Right, yeah, the pharmaceutical industry and the AMA, do they control the vast majority of the spending of the second largest share of GDP? Yes, they do. Would you call that a cartel?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if there's a cartel, do they want any other players coming in saying, oh, I got a different way of doing things? Not at all.
No.
Right. So that's cool, right? Like, I mean, I don't want to upset the apple cart at all.
Yeah.
Which is
going to take our special people and heal them.
Exactly. I'm not trying to take on the AMA or doctors or anything. They have their place. I can't say that I love them, but they have their function. I mean, in my mind, a better business model for health would be, I pay you if I don't get sick.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the way it was with Chinese medicine for years. Like, you would have a Chinese doctor, he would oversee your health. He would test you periodically. He would do all kinds of weird stuff, like feel your lines and look at your poop, and and he would tell you what to eat and what to do and give you herbs. And if you didn't get sick, you'd pay him at the end of the year. More money. Makes sense, right?
Makes sense.
We pay people for staying healthy, not pay people when we get sick.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I do. I give people a user manual for their body, right? Like, it's just like a car manual. Like, you want to know how to change the battery or change a tire or where the lug wrench is located. Well, here we are moving around in our bodies. We have no idea how they work. We just want to surrender control to this professional class that really has a lot of self-interest in keeping you from getting optimally healthy, because Absolutely. They get paid when you're sick, right? Yeah. So that's one of the things that I do, which is I take 23andMe or Ancestry raw DNA data, I upload it to this really sophisticated tool called Opus 23, and I literally, I stare into your genes. Stare into your.
I love it. I love it. Learn me. What are you doing? I'm staring into your genes.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about in-depth analysis.
Exactly. I'm analyzing your genes.
No, but that's great.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, this is what it looks like. So without getting too nerdy, because it is nerdy, honestly, it's biochemistry. Instead of, we're used to thinking about health from the perspective of organs like your skin, your hair, your eyes, your brain. But honestly, health originates on a cellular level, right? And I think that most people watching know that your cells are created as a result of the genes in your DNA. Every single component of that cell. If you think about it, it's like a building, right? And there's the architecture drawings for that building, right? Every single thing in that building has to be in those plans, otherwise it doesn't go into the building.
Exactly.
Right? But there's all these different components in the building that make it work. The lights, the plumbing, everything. And if some of those things are missing, it doesn't work right. So that's the right way to think about the body and about health. Instead of just being like, oh, I don't know why I get cancer, I just got cancer, or I don't know why I got fatty liver, it just happened. Well, you were genetically predisposed to those things. And if you knew the changes in your diet, right? If you knew the exact supplements you could take to help that biochemistry, help reduce it from causing problems, help keep it optimally running, if you knew that, you would have a better quality of life. And if you ever did run into serious conditions, you would be expecting them.
Exactly.
Right? So for instance, like, people fear cancer, but they don't know what kind of cancer they're going to get. There's a woman that I gave a genetic report to 3 years ago, and I told her that she had an 80% chance of getting breast cancer. She just contacted me and said she had breast cancer.
Wow. So if you know how if you can see they're predestined for it, can you also start treating it ahead of time before they get it, to keep them from getting it?
There are some things you can do to reduce your risk of cancer, right? I think I can point out a couple. Cancer needs a inflammatory environment to thrive. An inflammatory environment is actually one where your immune system is activated and typically has high levels of free radicals or oxygen, right? Generally, it's you would think of like your body's inflamed when you're generally unhealthy, right? Because of your diet, or exposure to environmental toxins, or stress, or poor sleep, all the things, or no exercise, all the things the doctor tells you are important to do. If you don't do them, then you generally get into an inflammatory condition.
Right.
But there are things, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
But there are things you can do. For instance, my client last night, he has a mutation on a gene called CBS, which reduces the amount of glutathione that his body produces. Glutathione is the most important antioxidant that your body makes. Because of this mutation, he had a vastly reduced amount of it. I saw the mutation on the gene, cystathionine beta synthase, and I know what to recommend to fix that. It's trimethylglycine. So trimethylglycine fixes that particular problem. I'm not going to go into the science of it because everyone will go, oh. But,
we'll fall over and fall asleep.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go into that whole thing. Even though, the only reason why I'm not doing it is because I nerded out so hard last night. I'm going to spare everybody because I got it out of my system. Normally I'd be like, homocysteine, cleavage to cysteine, and blah, blah. Anyway, so.
I love it.
But yeah, so I gave him. So it's amazing. Imagine you go into a health food store, right, or a supplement store. There are thousands of supplements. How do you know what to take? How do you know if it's doing anything for you? Oh, well, my aunt said this, or I saw this advertisement. You have no clue, right? But with this one in particular, I say you have to take trimethylglycine because otherwise your glutathione is low. If your glutathione is low, then your body has inflammation because you have free radicals. You have oxygen running around, tearing through your body all over the place, causing trouble. He's like, but I take glutathione. I said, it doesn't matter. Glutathione breaks down in your digestive system. He's like, it does? Like people that are selling you glutathione to take orally are just taking your money.
And no one would know that. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. That's why it's so important to have experts, because nobody would know that.
Right. I was like, you can insulfate it. He's like, what's that? I was like, inhale it. Because that goes into your body. But like if it goes through your digestive system, it breaks down. Like it's much better for us to turn something that's toxic, homocysteine, into something that's beneficial, glutathione. And all you have to take is this one pill. But you had to pay me to give you the knowledge that that was the exact pill you needed to take.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. So I have a lot of examples about huge changes or huge differences I've made in people's lives. But yeah, I mean, honestly, what I really want to tell anyone who's watching this right now is that you have to become the master of your own health. You cannot rely on white coats. I know they're so prestigious and they had so many years in medical school, and our nation were trained to treat them like priests. But really, they're just part of a huge industry, right? They're just part of the second largest industry in the United States, and their incentive structure is not actually to make you well.
Yes.
So knowing that, what are your options? You can stick your head in the sand, or you can educate yourself about yourself. And this is totally different from running around embracing one fad or another, saying even acupuncture, or I don't know, people are so into colloidal silver. There's all these different things that people say, if you just do this one thing, it's going to change. Everybody knows that's not true. There is no silver bullet. The body is incredibly complex. And what you need to do instead is understand that it's up to you to take control and be the captain of your own ship. And as scary and hard as that might be, there's no other choice, because imagine if you had only one car for the rest of your life. Would you treat it like shit?
No.
Or would you change the oil and make sure, like, this is the only car you will ever have?
That's what I tell people all the time. When you look at your body like a tool, and you understand that that's the only glove or tool that you're going to get. And when it's done, it's done. It makes you look at things a little bit differently.
Yeah. So imagine you have only one car for the rest of your life. If that car breaks down, you have to walk everywhere. That's it.
No option. You can't walk, you gotta crawl. And if you can't crawl, then you're just an invalid.
Yeah, right? So but this is actually true. Your freedom, if your body is fucked up, your freedom is so massively decreased. Instead of being able to like go skiing and travel the world and hang out on yachts and chase girls, you're sitting in a bed watching TV with a sack next to you that's filling up with your poop.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Cool. But who was responsible for that outcome? It wasn't like a drunk driver hit your body. You fucked it up because you didn't take care of it. And now you're sitting there feeling like, what happened to me? Why am I like this? Well, you chose that reality. So it's on you.
We live and die by the choices that we make, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. So for anyone who wants to have genetic testing or contact you because they have questions and they want to get in touch with you, how do they reach out to you?
honestly, in this day and age, I'm kind of embarrassed, but Instagram.
Hey,
I'm
that's
sorry,
great.
but
That's
like,
the best way. Everybody uses
it's
Instagram.
Instagram. I mean, it's silly, but like, I mean, Instagram.
That's perfect.
And then you get to see, who the hell this guy is. I mean, honestly, it's not like I have a bunch of pictures of myself with white coats and like cool, gene maps behind me trying to pretend like I'm some cool scientist guy. Like, this is a part of my life. I started doing this for myself, as I talked about. I wanted to master my own biology, and I believed I was smart enough to figure it out. And I figured out a lot of shit, and I'm proud of the results I've had for myself and I've been able to do for my clients. But like, if you want to find me, just look up SKY DFX, Sky DFX. That's my Instagram. DM me. I'll get back to you.
I love it. Well, there you guys have it today on 411business.com.net.org. You have it fresh from Sky's mouth, the genetic scientist, for lack of a better word.
Hey, it's science. It's science. It's weird science.
It is.